Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of TikTok Live. I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna try to get everything in. This is gonna be like a lot to digest. It's 6. I'm gonna be here until like I'm gonna be here like an hour and a half before Amy decides to come down and kill me. A lot of people have a lot of questions, so I'm going to try to address all the questions you may have on the Puerto Rico Self-Determination Act and what's going to happen with Puerto Rico the next year. If the law passes. We don't know yet if the law is going to pass or not. But if it did, then I'll answer a lot of questions on how it's going to go. I'll also get some guests in, and we can talk about the topic. I read the law. I read the entire law yesterday. I read it twice. It's it's not, let me rephrase that. I was going to say super complicated. It's not super complicated. It's just that you have to understand how it's going to work in terms of the transition and everything that has to do with the transfer of powers. And each choice is very different. The independence and free association are very similar. Very, very similar. Statehood is an entirely different thing. I hope that the people in Puerto Rico can sue the U.S. for the damages done to the island. That's another life. That's an entirely different conversation. Okay, so how does this impact the Jones Act? That is the question that I've been asked a lot, like 20 different people. Jones Act. So I'm going to explain. Okay, the Jones Act. The question is whether the Jones Act is going to disappear or is it going to stay? And the answer is different depending on the choice that we make. If we choose for Puerto Rico to be a free associated territory, not a territory because it will never be a territory under the 3 choices. If we choose for free association, then the Jones Act will disappear. It has to, because one of the requisites of free association with the United States is that we have to implement our own taxation system. And people are going to say, well, we already have our taxation system. We have Hacienda. No, it's not the same. Because Hacienda doesn't cover what is covered by federal law tax. There's we pay federal tax on a lot of things. People think we don't pay federal tax. We do pay federal tax. We just don't pay federal income tax. But we do Medicare, Social Security, estate tax, we do employer taxes, we do a bunch of taxes that we, as the people of Puerto Rico, will have to handle ourselves. And if we do that under free association, then the Jones Act wouldn't apply because the Jones Act is a federal law. And the federal law would not apply to Puerto Rico under free association or independence because we will be a sovereign nation. So the Jones Act would disappear. Now, if we were a state, if we choose statehood, then it could apply because the United States will have the freedom to apply all of the taxes that they deem necessary. Now, the good thing is that if we're a state, we can vote in Congress to eliminate the Jones Act, because we will have people in the Senate and the House, and we will have representation. And as one of the states that will be part of the union, we would have a say in what taxes are imposed to us because we will have representation. It will be literally taxation with representation. Right now, we have taxation with no representation, so that's why we can't say anything. So if we were a state, we could negotiate it. If we were a free association or an independent country, the Jones Act would not apply. That's one. I'm going to try to answer all the questions because there's a lot of questions right now, okay? How would it work for property owners that live in Puerto Rico? Okay, that's a good question as well. If you own property in Puerto Rico, whether you are abroad or in Puerto Rico, the situation will be different whether you're a state or whether Puerto Rico is an independent nation or a free association. Let's take the first topic, which is free association and independence. So, and in any of those two, Puerto Rico will have its own taxation system. So if you lived in Puerto Rico or you were abroad and had property in Puerto Rico, you will have to pay Puerto Rico tax. And it will be different. It will be, you will pay no federal tax, obviously, because Puerto Rico will be its own nation. But you will have to pay whatever local tax Puerto Rico decides to impose on property. And we don't know what's that going to be because we will have to develop our own taxation system. If we were part of the United States of America as the State of the Union, if we were a state, then you will have to pay federal tax on that property, which will have to be decided by the people of Puerto Rico, by Congress and the House of Representatives and the Senate, by our elected representatives, what is going to be that state tax, because Puerto Rico will be a state. And you will have to pay state tax, if any, or not. It depends on whatever we decide. Or if we're going to pay, or the federal tax that would apply to that property. So you will pay taxes no matter what. But you won't lose the property because the law says that all of the legalities of Puerto Rico will be transferred to the people of Puerto Rico and Congress to administer. So we will have to administer our property. You would still own the property. You would just pay taxes differently. That's how it will work. All right. Anyone else challenge you to a debate? If there's anybody stupid enough to do it. Okay. What do you think will Puerto Rico decide? If the law passes, I think Puerto Rico will vote for statehood. I have no doubt on it. We know Puerto Rico will not choose independence. We know that. They won't. They had many chances to do so, and they always vote. It's like 5% of the vote for independence every time. It went down to like 1% at some point. And free association, it's basically the exact same thing. The only difference with free association is that we would have a treaty with the United States that will be negotiated by 5 people from the United States and 5 people from Puerto Rico, which will be known as the free association contract. And everything will be in there. Taxes, legal rights to land. I mean, everything will be in that contract. But if we're freely associated, which is not the ELA, do not mix it. The Estado Libre Asociado will disappear. That is not what we're doing here. If we chose a free association, Puerto Rico will be an independent nation with, all of the responsibilities of an independent nation. And it will be a transition period of 10 years. So we will keep receiving federal aid. All of the legalities of the federal government we will receive, but for 10 years. After 10 years, it will go down 10% every year. And in 20 years, it will basically disappear. Whether we choose free association or independence. We don't have to develop it from scratch. We already have most governmental structure working. Correct. So, and that's also it's not a question, it's a statement, but you are correct. Everything will remain the same in terms of the government structures. Right? We already have a Department of Natural Resources, the Department of Transportation. All of that shit will remain the same. And the legal structure, the Supreme Court of Puerto Rico, our legal system, all of it will remain the same. The only thing that will disappear under free association and independence is the U.S. District Court. All federal courts in Puerto Rico will disappear. And all the cases pending that are federal will be held to respond on the federal side. But everything else that's for Puerto Rico will remain in Puerto Rico. And everything else that comes after that will be part of the Puerto Rico legal system. So if you commit a crime, it won't be a federal crime. Even if it's a federal crime, it will be a crime that will have to be held under the legal system of Puerto Rico. We will have to run everything. But everything, yeah, you're correct. The legislature, the Senate, obviously it will. Okay, let me rephrase that. If it was a territory, not a territory. Again, I got to correct myself because the territory will not exist again. If it's a free association or an independent nation, it will have its legislatures and all that. We could change those numbers because remember, the first thing we need to do if we become an independent nation, if we vote for that, or a free association is we have to ratify a new constitution because our legal system, not our legal system, our legislative system will be entirely different. We will have to make a new constitution. All right, let me see if I can keep answering stuff because there's a lot of stuff here. If Puerto Rico becomes a state, it will be as expensive as Hawaii or worse. Not necessarily, because part of the project is that when Puerto Rico becomes a state, the president and Congress will have to sit down and they will create a committee. And in that committee, they will have to completely restructure the system, the monetary system of Puerto Rico. Because you have to understand something. When we become a state, we start from scratch because everything will be different. The amount of money that we receive will be different. Our fiscal responsibility will be different. The problem is going to be that our debt will remain the same. So all of the debt will stay there. None of that will go away. So that part is like, it's not just going to magically disappear. But we will get a different economy because obviously by becoming a state, it will affect property value, minimum wage, labor laws. It affects a lot of things. Puerto Rico, as we know it, will disappear. And then everything will have to be revamped by the government of the United States and Congress. And it will have to, Puerto Ricans will vote on it because we will have representation as a state. So we will have to negotiate all of that. I don't know if it's an exercise in futility to think whether we will be more expensive or the same or pricing will go down. It's too hard to tell, you know. Which perspective are you leaning? I'm leaning for statehood at this point because listen, we don't. 10 years is too short. Like if we choose free association, 10 years of developing an economic plan is too short term. With a reduction in 10% every year after those 10 years, after year 11, it's too quick. Like way too fast, you know? Unless they pay reparations. If the United States gave us money for all the damage they did, then great. But they won't. We could sue them, but we probably won't get shit. So it's like, it leaves us in a precarious position. How many people feel good about being a state? Oh, more than 50. More than 60%. Want it. Will it improve the economy? Gas, food, tax. Listen, again, that's the same question as the last one. It's hard to say because it's like, you really got me thinking on this one. It's very hard to say because it depends. You know, the answer to that is it depends on Congress, you know, because the president will have to establish a committee once the law passes to redefine our entire economy. They're going to have to sit down and be like, okay, we have to impose a federal tax. How much is that tax going to be? What is the local poverty rate? How much does Puerto Rico owes us? How much do we owe them? What's the local fuel cost there? How do they calculate it? Are we going to do it by gallon? You know, there's a lot of things that's going to take a few years. Even though Puerto Rico will become a state in a year because that's the president and the law says that a year after the plebiscite is decided, the president has to issue a decree and unify Puerto Rico as part of the union. So that's 1 year. But what's going to take longer is determining that the taxation system, the economy, extra aid that we're going to get, our responsibility in terms of federal taxes, our debt, you know. And somebody's asking, but because people are still asking questions. It's really hard to determine what the economy is going to look like, you know. Are Puerto Ricans conservative overall? No, not at all. 75 to 80% of our leaders in Puerto Rico are Democrat, the vast majority. 70% of the governors that have governed Puerto Rico in the past 40 years have been Democrat. Roberto Sánchez Vilella, Rafael Hernández Colón, Sila Calderón, Alejandro García Padilla, Ricky Rosselló, all of our governors have been Democrat. Almost all of them. I think for the exception of Wanda, which got arrested by the FBI, she was a Republican. And I think, I can't remember off the top of my head who else. There was one more. But yeah, most of the leadership, Carmen Yulín, people in, people in the Senate and Congress in Puerto Rico, the majority are Democrats, registered Democrats. Kenneth McClintock, the majority are Democrats. Did the House already vote the bill out? Yes, the House voted on it. It passed. Now it depends on the Senate. They have a small recess at Christmas, so they're going to vote on it in December. 60 votes. No longer American citizens either. Negative. That is the one thing that doesn't change. So, all Puerto Ricans that are U.S. citizens now, no matter what formula we pick, will remain U.S. citizens. That is actually something that nobody asked me, or probably I haven't seen it. Correct. Luis Fortuño is a Republican. Yeah. So the law clearly states on all three formulas that no matter what we pick, all Puerto Ricans who are U.S. citizens as of today will never lose their citizenship, ever. But by law or decree or whatever. If you are alive today, whether you are a month old or 30 or 60, if you are a U.S. citizen right now, that will remain in effect until you die. That will not change. So if Puerto Rico becomes independent, you can stay, you can leave. Of course, I mean, if Puerto Rico became an independent country, they will have their own laws and they will decide whether they would accept American citizens or not. I imagine they'll be okay with it because the entire population right now is U.S. citizens. But we won't lose it. Now, if Puerto Rico decides to be a free association or an independent nation, the children, after the decree, after it's passed, the children of people who are U.S. citizens under the immigration laws will not be U.S. citizens. Like if two people that are Puerto Rican citizens after the law has passed decide to have a child, that child will not be a U.S. citizen. They will have to apply like any other person from Venezuela or Cuba or whatever. And if that child, one of the parents is a U.S. citizen and the other one is not, same thing. They are not considered U.S. citizens. Ius soli, or by birth, will not exist. Those will cease to exist. That does not make sense to me. Well, I don't know what to tell you. That's the law. So are you rooting for Puerto Rico becoming a state? It's all the same to me because I don't. Well, my entire family lives there. I think it should be decided, and it will be decided for the people of Puerto Rico to decide. I don't live in Puerto Rico. You know, I don't hold any property there. I don't have anything. So it doesn't affect me. It affects my family. They are the ones who should determine what they want. I think the best outcome right now will be statehood. Based on what we have. What we have right now is very little. So if you told me independence and a 10-year plan with no reparations, that's wild. I don't know if we could make it. I mean, we will, unless we create like this amazing treaty with another country. If we went with Greenland and Greenland said, we will absorb all your debt and all Puerto Ricans will become citizens of Greenland or something, you know. But by ourselves, with a 10-year plan to develop currency, a taxation system, a social security system, because that money is going to be transferred to us. A legal system that can process all of the cases that we have pending. It's a lot. People don't realize how much it is, you know. What will happen with Vieques a Culebra? Well, you know, if we become an independent nation, the project says that all territories that currently are part of Puerto Rico will stay in Puerto Rico. And all money, everything that is owed to us will be passed on to Puerto Ricans. Like the Radar de Arecibo, the Proyecto SETI, which was run by NASA. Everything that's federal right now in Puerto Rico will be given to us. Like the Yunque, the only federal national rainforest in the United States. That's Puerto Rican. That will pass to the Department of Natural Resources, el DRNA. And that will belong to Puerto Rico. and everything that every military base, anything that the Americans, that the United States owns in Puerto Rico will be passed to the people of Puerto Rico, to the government. That is a fantastic question. Gray Yeyes asked, if Borinquen becomes a state, will Taínos be federally recognized? That is a fantastic question. Because Taínos are Native Americans. They should have an exemption that is different from that of United States citizens. You are correct. The answer to that question is, I have no idea, because the law doesn't say anything about it. And I am curious too, because I am 20% Latino, 20% Taino. I qualify as Native American under the laws of the United States if Puerto Rico became a state. I could go to a reservation and I could get like benefits from it. But they don't mention it, so I don't know. Do you have any fears with this? Yes. I mean, a lot can go wrong. Let's say okay, let me give you an example. Let's say that the people of Puerto Rico vote for free association. They won't vote for independence. I would take a bet. I would bet my 401k. But let's say they vote for free association. People are like, we want to stay. We want to have our own shit, but we don't want to dislodge from you. We'll do free association. They will have to create a committee and negotiate everything. But the transfers of powers are still going to happen. We will become a sovereign nation. And we have to be ready for that, for what that entails, and that means, and what it means. Like, we don't have an army. Like, there's things that, if shit goes down, if some country wants to fight us, that probably won't happen, but it could. Like we literally, it's like you're living with your mother for a long time, and then your mom is like, here's a couple of credit cards on a car. You get the fuck out of my house, right? So it's like you could probably be okay, but it's not gonna be easy. That requires a lot of knowledge. A lot of people will have to run for office, and they will have to know what they're doing, in terms of taxes, of law, of negotiating treaties with other countries. It's a lot of responsibility. And people have to understand the responsibility that comes with it, Puerto Rico will not lose its flags. Yeah, but the flag is the flag, Even if we become a state, we will have our own little flag. But no Miss Universe, none of that shit. We will be a part of the United States. Yeah. And the dream team, I guess Carlos Arroyo can go and play with them and all that shit. But yeah, we become a state. Do you know if the Jones Act will be abolished either way? Yeah, the only way the Jones Act will remain is if we become a state. But if we become a state, we can negotiate it. We can vote on it. Right now we have no say on it. Just like we have zero say. But if we're a state, we will have representation in Congress, and we can lobby and say, fuck it, we don't want to pay this shit anymore. But let me tell you something. The Jones Act is the least of our problems. That's like, if Puerto Rico became a state, the Jones Act is, I think the United States will even eliminate it, because we're going to pay so much federal tax that the Jones Act is going to be like a drop in the bucket. You have to understand, federal tax is a lot. People don't realize how much federal tax is. If Puerto Rico votes statehood and Republicans block it, no, that's not how it works. So we can't vote until they pass the law. So the law right now is in the Senate, and there's a recess. They're going to vote on it, hopefully before the end of December. And two things may happen. The Senate votes on it and says yes, And then the law is going to Biden, and Biden will sign it. Biden already said, I want Puerto Ricans to self-determine. So that's given. If that happens, then the plebiscite is going to be in November. I think it's the 23rd. I don't remember the date. I know it's in November 2023, next year. And in that, whatever we vote on that, that's binding. And it will be only eligible for bona fide citizens of Puerto Rico. That means that Logan Paul and the crypto bros and all those people can vote because they're bona fide citizens of Puerto Rico. That's why they qualify for a tax break. But they can, the Republicans can vote on it and say yes, or they can right now in December say no. I think most possibly it will die in the Senate. The Republicans are not going to allow it. The Republicans will never allow Puerto Rico to self-determine because they know that we will probably vote for statehood, and they are racist as fuck and they hate us. There was a guy saying on TikTok the other day that we're dumb and that we don't handle money well, that we can't be a state. I mean, they hate us. They won't let it happen. And the majority of the people that will hold office in Puerto Rico will be Democrats. If that happens, I will go back to Puerto Rico and run for the Democrats and become a senator. I would do it. Sorry, there's a lot. If Puerto Rico gains its independence, do they have to create their own currency? Absolutely. If we become independent, we have to create everything. We have to develop our own currency, our own tax system, our own social security system, our own Medicare, healthcare, our own legal system to deal with everything that had to do with federal will be revamped. We would have to develop our own, everything. We will be our own country. Our own country, our own military, our own everything. Every single possible thing that you can imagine that entails being a country, Puerto Rico will have to develop. And we will have basically 20 years. 10 with aid, and then after the 11, incrementally going down 10%. By the time we get to 20, zero aid from the United States. Figure it out. Yeah. We will lose our national flag. We wouldn't lose our flag. We wouldn't lose our culture either, but there's no competing in the Olympics, none of that shit. All right. What do I think the currency exchange will be if we go independent? I have no fucking clue. If I knew, I would be in Vegas. There's no way of knowing. Because our currency is greatly going to depend on our economy. If our economy is shit, then in comparison to the value of a dollar, a Puerto Rican buck will be, not a whole lot. It depends. We won't be Great Britain. We won't have a euro. It's not like we are that position, But yeah. Wait, because I'm having a lot of new comments that refresh. We'd have to have a passport to visit our families. No. Again, all Puerto Ricans that are U.S. citizens currently will not lose their citizenship. That is given. That's the law. I personally think the U.S. will let us become a state. They have no choice. That's the thing. This is important for you guys to know. If the law passes this month, if Republicans don't fight it and say, we're going to pass the law, then they have no choice if we vote on statehood in 2023. The law is binding. It literally, when you read the statehood clause, it literally forces the president to give us statehood. It says the president shall issue. A shall issue law is basically the same as like a shall issue state with handguns. Like if you ask for a handgun in a shall issue state, they have to give it to you. You have no choice, but it's because it's the law. Same thing with this one. If this law passes in December and we choose statehood in the next year, we are a state in 1 year. So that's given. No passport needed, none of that. Why is it going to die in the Senate? Because the majority of Republicans will vote no. We don't have the numbers. We need 60. We just don't have Republicans will probably vote against it. And you have to understand something. The Senate changed. And the new Senate is coming in. So maybe it will. I mean, it's possible that there's a few Republicans that support the act. I mean, 16 of them voted in favor of it just now in the House. I don't know if it's going to be the same in the Senate, though. We'll see. What about the military? I mean, we either have one or we don't. There's like places that don't, like Costa Rica doesn't have a military. We might not need it. I mean, who knows? Without the U.S., there is no Puerto Rico. I wouldn't go that far. Puerto Rico released a city in its own. I mean, I don't know, possibly, but it's too short term. Because they're not giving us anything. They're just giving us what we already have, but they're going to put it in our name. It's like, imagine if you're using a car for 4 years, and then statehood is like, okay, I'm going to take that car and put your name on the title. It's okay, I've been driving it for the past 30 years. You're not giving me anything new. How would it benefit us becoming a state? My God, bro, you just came in. One of the issues, those crypto parasites can vote. Yeah, none of the diaspora. I cannot vote for this. I cannot vote. I will have to go to Puerto Rico and live there and become a bona fide resident. That is correct. Hypothetically, Puerto Rico could choose the dollar or the euro. That is true, hypothetically, but we will have to develop our own system. You know, if you think it dies in the Senate, then statehood is a reality. No, if it dies in the Senate, it's over. Then the project is done, and we go back to being the way we are right now. I mean, not back. We just stay the same. What about property tax as a statehood, especially for the poor? That would have to be negotiated by the president and Congress if we become a state. You know, we will have to choose our elected officials, and they will have to go to Congress and say, hey, you know, based on our economy, this is the tax that should apply. You have to understand the taxation system in Puerto Rico under federal law, if we became a state, is from scratch. We will have to start from zero and figure out what a reasonable tax rate will be. I imagine it won't be too high in the beginning, because legislators will be reasonable about it. They will be like, shit, we don't want to drown these people, you know? Especially when our economy is growing and we have investors coming in. Maybe he meant the House, not the Senate. No, it's the Senate. The project already passed in the House. How do you know so much about politics and world history? Because I went to school for it and I read a lot. Do you think you have the best of? We have the best of both worlds. No, not now. Now we have shit. I think Puerto Rico is ready for independence? No, not at this moment. What made me move out of Puerto Rico? The economy. Our entire island will be gentrified. It's already been gentrified. All right. That's pretty much it. Let me start letting people in. My good friend. Rafi, what's going on, brother?
How you doing, my friend?
Doing good, man. It's gonna snow next year in Puerto Rico.
It's cold right now here. It's a little
It
bit cold.
is. You know how much it is in Colorado? 17 degrees.
Here it's like 70 degrees.
It's crazy.
For us, for us that's cold.
Yeah.
I was asking you a question and it passed by a couple of times. Me as a Puerto Rican live in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Vida popular.
Yeah.
We got this thing called like right now they passed this law about that we took straight out of my problem. They passed a law for the United States federal law that cockfight was supposed to be abolished in Puerto Rico,
The what?
but it has to be abolished. It has to
What has
be
to be
right
abolished?
now. Cockfighting. They
Oh,
passed a
the
law.
cockfighting. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they pass a law, federal law. Well, the government says we're not gonna apply the law here. Now this not the government here is not gonna enforce the law.
Yeah.
They say like if you want to do it, send your people and do what you gotta do, but we're not doing it because that's a culture thing.
Yeah.
Some guy told me, friend of mine, he goes like, "Oh, if we would be the statehood, we would have had the chance to tell no, say no to that law." How true is that?
No, if we become a state, we if we become a state, then
uh,
what would apply is federal law, and the federal law will be the supreme law of the land. If the federal government bans cockfighting, it's done. It's done. I think they already did. I'm not sure though.
they did the law
Yeah,
passed.
if the
The law
law, if
passed.
there's federal law, listen. Here's the thing. This is where the conundrum comes in. Puerto Rico will keep their constitution. We would have the statehood clause of the law says that if Puerto Rico becomes a state, our constitution will be the constitution of the state of Puerto Rico. All states, the states that have their own constitution, but
Exactly, I know.
the constitution of the United States will be the supreme law of the land. That means that if there is something that contravenes with the constitution of the United States, the constitution of the United States will override it. We cannot
Okay.
we cannot pass any law that is against the laws of the United States Constitution. So if it's banned federally, we're fucked. Like that, there's a lot of things. And another cool thing would be that because the supreme law of the land it will be the Constitution of the United States, the Second Amendment will apply. So anybody can apply for a gun in Puerto Rico and get it the same day
Yeah, yeah, I
under
understand that part, but because
Heller
they
versus
told me that,
McDonald and all that.
but like right now, in the level of federal, um, 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 weed is illegal.
Say
You
what?
see? Yeah,
Oh, for the
illegal.
cockfighting.
Yeah, but the weed, smoke. The marijuana is illegal for federals right now.
Correct.
But there's laws in states they can sell it.
Yeah,
That's
but
why
yeah, but that's different because it's not there's things that the states are allowed to legislate, right?
exactly.
And marijuana and it's one of those things. But there's other things that is called an occupied camp where it's like you can't do it, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
we will have
That's what I was
well,
happening.
listen, we could vote on it. We could be like because we will have representation in Congress. We could be like, hey, we want Puerto Rico to like have cockfighting. Yeah. I just
Yeah,
don't know enough about it to be like, will it be allowed or not? And there's a lot of other things that are going to be priority.
yeah. I know
They-
that point. Yeah, that's bigger things.
yeah,
But
they're not going to be
like,
worried about that.
but right now it's like they had the law, they passed the law. We're still doing it, and the government gave us the licenses for the car pits. We got licenses, drinking, eating. We paid the government to have our car pits, and we're doing the same thing we always do.
Yeah.
And they said the
Abortions, that
government
she's asking one of the ethical critical thinker, abortions need to be legal. Probably in Puerto Rico, they will pass
they
legislation
are
for them to
they
be
are
legal.
they're protected. They're protected,
No, but I mean as a state, we because our constitution would protect it. Like Colorado, we would allow abortions. And you have to understand, Puerto Rico is more liberal than people think, and the majority of people in Puerto Rico are fucking Democrat.
they call us we are bums. We don't speak English and we don't work and we what else the McClintock said that we were bums. We
Yeah,
don't
well,
work. We don't speak English
racism will always show up.
and we broke.
Yeah,
I was like, who the fuck is this guy?
our
I was
economy is
like,
better than Mississippi, which is a Republican state. So I don't know what they're talking about. Like fucking
yeah, but there's a lot of laws that conflict with the laws of Puerto Rico.
yeah,
And people are like, well, how we could defend ourselves if we don't have nobody in the government of the United States say no, Puerto Rico needs this and this and this, because people don't understand Puerto Rico's completely different. We could become a
Well,
state,
but listen,
and we
if
are
we become a
totally different.
but listen, if we become a state, they already said that our system of government will be Republican in nature, which means that we will vote for elected officials that will vote in representation of us for the president. But we will have the structure of other states, the same thing. So we will have a ton of, I think it's 41 in the House and like a ton of people. Like, because
It's
our
four set
numbers,
28 in the House and four
well, our
senates.
numbers will be similar to a state that is similar in numbers. The only state that is
Nevada.
similar to us is Nevada, yeah, and they have 21, 21 in the 41 in the House, and I think 21 in the Senate. So it's a lot of people that will be voiced for us and that have a vote, and it's a big deal, you know.
And the Republicans don't want that to give us that power, because they're not going to give us that power. They don't want Puerto Rico to have that power
Yeah.
in the
How
government.
will this affect? Somebody's asking, how will this affect migrants coming to Puerto Rico? Well, it depends. If we are an independent nation or if we have free association, Puerto Rico would have to establish its own immigration laws. Yeah, so
It's like we still do it.
we would
We
determine
are
who
doing it.
comes in and who comes out of Puerto Rico, and we will have to issue a Puerto Rican citizenship, and we will have our own passport. It will be like an entire thing. If we become a state, then it's the INS. Then they can come here and deport and do whatever. Yeah,
I
which
have a
they already
question.
do now. They already do it now.
I got a good question for you.
Yeah,
Let's see if the free association wins.
yeah.
They say, oh, if from this moment on, whoever is born from this year to that year go on, he doesn't have a citizen. What will happen with those Puerto Ricans that will travel just to have their kids in the States and come back?
Say what?
What will happen to those Puerto Ricans that are still citizens now
Uh huh.
if the free association wins?
Uh huh.
They will go down to the States,
The
have
law
their kids
says
in the States,
no.
and
The
come
law
back.
is very clear. It says that if you are a child of Puerto Rican citizens after the decree of free association, you are not a citizen of the United States,
Even if you're born in the States,
even if you're born in the United States, because Puerto Rican citizens will not be considered like they would. You have to understand something. We pass citizenship to our children because of a decree in the law, because we are citizens of the United States. But under the new free association, Puerto Rican citizens will cease to exist after the proclaim and people start being born from Puerto Ricans. It stops there. It's over. If you marry a Puerto Rican and you're not a U.S. citizen, same thing. Like you will not pass it by birth. Birthright citizenship will be over. And literal, the law says it. It says it like right there. You can read it. Yeah. So it
okay.
doesn't matter where you're at. If the two Puerto Ricans are married, like me and Amy, I mean, we won't have children anytime soon, but if we decided to have a kid, that kid would not be a U.S. citizen because one of the couples is Puerto Rican. It's a big deal. It's not like people think it's like, oh no, it's you have to be aware of these things. Like,
But you know, Puerto Ricans are very proud, and one thing being proud sometimes is like, okay, let's do it this way. Let's have a free. For me, I would go for free association. For me, because I think we could build good Puerto Rico and have good things.
yeah,
But the problem is gonna be like who we choose to be there, government the Puerto Rico.
well,
That's gonna be the big ass problem.
the law says that we have to create a committee, and and people have to vote on it. So Puerto Ricans will have to choose who are going to be the five people. It's five people on each side. Five people. I mean, I'll run and maybe I can negotiate for you guys. But
Yeah,
it's gonna
I
be
would love that. I will
it
help
will
you
be
out.
five Puerto Ricans and five gringos, and then they will sit down at a table and negotiate the treaty between the United States and Puerto Rico, and that can include the gamble, everything, immigration, a bunch of shit, everything. But they have a time. I think the time limit. I think it's 2 years where they have to have like a plan, and then be like, okay, the 2 years are up. What do we have? Oh well, we negotiated this. Okay, let's send it to the president and Congress, and they'll ratify it, and that will be the agreement between the United States and Puerto Rico.
It's like
And
it's like we
and
do it in ELA.
well, no, the ELA is over. That's gone.
Yeah, but it's like we doing it. Like we doing the same business they did when they did the ELA. Doing
Correcto. La
something
Asamblea
new. Yeah.
Constituyente, the assembly
Yeah.
will determine the powers that be. And after we have a draft, people have to vote on it again. They have to be like, okay, let's see if we agree with everything that is there. And people will vote on it. And if they ratify it, it will be the agreement between the sovereign nation of Puerto Rico and the United States. But we will have our own shit. And we can do treaties with other countries. We could be like, oh, we want to negotiate with China. And the United States can be like, well, fuck you. I don't want you to negotiate with China. I'll give you nothing. They can do that too. Because the law says that any of the two parties can retire from the agreement at any moment. So the agreement could last 2 years, and then if we negotiate with Venezuela, the United States will be like, fuck you. I don't like those people. And then they retire the agreement. They can do that at any time.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
But we will have power to put laws here that we need, right? If we become a state.
Oh, yeah. We became a state. You have local power. All states like have local legislatures, and yeah, definitely. But our legislation will be limited to the Constitution of the United States. Like
So
we cannot do what we're doing now. We cannot say, well, concealed carry in Puerto Rico is a privilege. That wouldn't hold because we will be going above the Constitution of the United States.
that would be wild here. Everybody having a gun. That would
Oh
be
yeah, you
wild.
can get grenades, silencers, short battle rifles, 50 caliber weapons,
We
machine
are crazy.
guns.
We
You
are
will pay
crazy enough.
you will pay the ATF attacks. You could have access to anything. Yeah,
That would be.
there's a lot of
It's
things.
more. It's complicated. People think
Very
it's
complicated.
easy. Right now, my head is like going like all these
Yeah, and let me tell you something. I
ideas.
read the law. I sat down yesterday with a cup of coffee, and I was like, I'm gonna read this shit. And I sat down. The law it's crazy because when you think about it, the entire future of the Puerto Rican people is determined on a 56-page document. It's not a lot. It's like the document is 56 pages.
Yeah,
That's
like
it.
this.
Yeah, it's
Sitting
not. I
down in the
read it
bathroom.
like that, and I was like,
Sitting down in
okay.
the bathroom.
And then when it finishes, you're like, that's it. You feel very like desolate. You're like, this is not like a lot. And I think another reason that's why Alexandria Ocasio dropped from it. I think she had a concept in her head, and it didn't came out like she wanted. And she's like, I want nothing to do with this shit because it's really fast when you think about it. It's a lot.
Yeah, but I don't think it's gonna pass the Senate.
I think that it's gonna be, yeah. But
I don't
listen,
think.
it could it could be like 10 fucking because Democrats are all gonna vote yes. They already did in the
But the
House.
Republicans,
All
but
of the
the
Democrats said
Republicans hate us. They don't want to give us that power. The problem is
no.
they don't want Puerto Ricans to have all that power.
But listen how close it is. If you all we need is 60 votes. If all the Democrats are gonna vote yes. Let's say that fucking 4 stupid Republicans are like, just fucking sure. Then we won. Listen, you're laughing. Crazier shit has happened. 16 Republicans voted yes in the House for the project.
Yeah.
16. So don't tell me that it couldn't happen over there on that side too. Unless they really unless the GOP brings the whip and they're like, you motherfuckers, don't you fucking dare give these fucking brown people statehood. Because that's what they're going to think. They're going to be like, these motherfuckers are going to vote statehood immediately. And then what?
The problem is people will get scared and they will go vote statehood.
Oh,
they will
I
start
know
using
statehood is going to
that
win.
propaganda here, like, oh, you're gonna be a citizen.
Well, this is another. That's a good thing you just said. That's another thing. The law says that there will have to be a campaign for the plebiscite that is non-partisan. But it's bullshit because you know that the populares are probably we'll see. I don't even know because are the populares gonna gonna lobby for free association, which is
We
basically
are too
independence.
soft. The populares are soft already. We got
I'm,
like 10% of populares here in Puerto Rico. Everything got messed up. The
but
thinking
I'm
and
very
the
curious. I'm very curious to see where the Popular Democratic Party is gonna lean. Whether they're gonna go with free associate,
soberanistas.
huh?
They are all leading to soberanismo, free
Well,
association.
then they vote. Then they will push free association.
They're going to push that because remember most of the populares, and I could say it, they are melones.
Yeah,
They,
yeah,
they
yeah.
they want half and half. They
Statehood
want half and
requires
half.
two of the third state's approval. No, this is the problem. People are not listening to me. God damn it. The law is binding. The law says that the president has to incorporate Puerto Rico as the 51st state if we vote on it. They speaks nothing about Congress. The law is binding. So you made that up.
Somebody asked you if Puerto Rico could become the next Cuba.
The law does not assert the Constitution. Correct, but they don't need Congress to unify Puerto Rico based on legislation if everyone agrees with it. If Congress listen, if Congress says media vis-a-vis this law, Puerto Rico will be incorporated, and Senate and House vote on it, and the president signs it, then Puerto Rico will be a state because nobody's opposing it. You can't go back to the law and say, "Oh well, Puerto Rico can't be a state because what we meant, but that law is against the Constitution." They'll be like, "Well, why the fuck did you sign it?"
Yeah,
That's yeah,
everybody on the House they signed it,
yeah,
and it it was for anything because what was his name? The government, the Puerto Rican guy.
yeah.
I forgot his
Listen,
name.
Rafi, I gotta go on to the next one because I have a lot of people waiting. All right, but it was great talking to you, and I'll let you know if the cockfighting remains still.
Yeah, please.
All right, brother. Take care.
I'll be here, bro.
All
As
right, have
always.
a good
Always.
one. You too.
Take
Bye.
care, Papa.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that it's gonna change. Um, um, let me see here. I'm trying to go back to everything. Uh, yeah, the indigenous people thing. Again, I don't know. The misconception is that you all think Puerto Ricans are liberal. There are more liberal Puerto Ricans than conservatives. The vast majority of Puerto Ricans are Democrat in nature. That's why we keep picking Democratic leaders. I have no idea what the AOC wants. I don't know. I wish I would sit down with her and have a cup of coffee and ask her. DC will become a state before Puerto Rico does, not according to this law. Puerto Ricans always vote no for statehood. That is not true. They vote yes on the last one, 60%. The pharmaceutical industry would not want it to happen. Yeah, but the tax breaks, the taxation system will be different. So they can still benefit from. I mean, we as the sovereign nation of Puerto Rico can tell them, hey, we'll give you a tax break from our own taxes. Okay, next person. Luillo, my arch nemesis.
Yo, what's going on, boy?
What's going on, brother? Luis Med, ladies and gentlemen, the Republican
Thank you.
who supports the party who voted against self-determination for Puerto Rico.
The party that voted against, yeah, that's crazy. So in 19,
That's the
yeah,
people you
yeah.
support.
Well, in 1979, President Gerald Ford supported statehood for Puerto Rico, but at the time, the ELA was good. You know, it was doing what it was supposed to do at the time.
Yeah.
So the economy wasn't bad. So actually, no one really supported statehood on the island. So the bill basically, it went nowhere. But yeah, we had a Republican president supporting statehood for Puerto Rico. Although right now, I think it's not gonna pass in the Senate. That's my opinion. We need 60 votes, as you said, but right now we have 55 votes, if I'm counting right. We got from the Republican side, we got all Democrats, but in my opinion, we got some Republicans too. We got Mitt Romney, we got Marco Rubio, we got Rick
Yeah,
Scott.
that's what I'm saying. It could pass.
So
You don't need a lot.
it could really pass. It could really pass. But you're also right by saying that people are gonna get scared and they're gonna vote for statehood. And
Oh
I'm
yeah,
talking about people that support Ella.
yeah.
See, I'm against not putting Ella on the ballot. I think it should be added so it could be,
No,
Democrats.
no, really?
Yeah, because I mean that's what the PPD, El PPD is making that excuse. They're saying, oh,
No,
they're not adding our.
but listen, we met from an ex popular. That's not a formula of status. The current Ella should not be in there, and it's not. And I am glad it is not because
You're
it's
right.
the
You're
same
right. I
shit.
agree.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah.
It's like, and I used to vote for it, but
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're straight.
it
All right.
doesn't
Mira,
work anymore. It's like, no, it's better to
yeah.
just either statehood or independent. Free
All right.
association is a good avenue, you know.
No, but I'm actually surprised at the rate the statehood is gonna take place if it gets approved. A year. That's crazy. That's
A year,
insane.
dude. One
That's
year.
that's
Isn't it
that's
crazy? I
insane.
saw it too.
We
One
we gotta
year
vote
from
for. I
the
mean,
time of the plebiscite.
it's crazy. Puerto Rico's gonna get so much political power. I don't care if it's Democratic or
Oh,
Republican. Oh, we need. I'm down for that power. I'm okay with it. I don't care if it's
yeah.
Democratic or Republican. Well, mira,
Yeah.
Luis, te voy a dejar ir. I gotta let you go because I'm at the store right now. All right,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
take
no
care.
worries, man. Thanks for coming in. We'll talk later.
Always.
Have a good one, bro. All right. Next. Let's do Fix. The man with a plan. Fix is gonna give out tomorrow one of his beautiful art pieces for whoever does the best impression of Luisito. We'll see. What's going on, Fixer?
What's going on, brother? How you been?
I'm doing, man. I'm trying to understand all this craziness that's going on, you know?
Oh, look, I look like you in the back. The flag in the back.
There you go, baby. Got mine too.
Mira, I got a question. In all that talk, like you went through the laws, right?
Yeah.
You went through the 52 pages. Was there anything that talked about federally recognizing
Taínos.
indigenous?
Yeah, no, I just told everyone that
I just hopped on, so
Amy's here, but she doesn't want to be on camera. Come here. It's only 400,000 people.
that's it.
Say hi.
Hello.
Hi, Amy.
She's gonna get Puerto Rican citizenship when we become independent. To me,
Yeah.
he become a citizen of Puerto Rico.
He's gonna give me a green card.
You're gonna get mofongo. We're gonna get all the good
I'm
stuff.
gonna get in the
Coquito.
mofongo. I'm gonna get in the mofongo wars. I'm gonna
Because
have to
that's
brush up my Taylor Swift songs though. I don't know any Taylor Swift.
Yeah, you gotta get you gotta brush up on your mofongo throwing skills.
Mira, and there's this dude that made an imitation on you. He really wants that coquito.
I seen a few good ones. I'm gonna put it out
What?
tomorrow, and I'm gonna hand out the prices. But I seen a very good
He
impression.
has the whole thing. Está bueno.
Yeah.
But the reason I asked that question is because when I came to the States, I landed up southeastern. And I was working.
I'm just about to be there. Yeah.
I worked with the tribe up here, and I know a few people that are looking to see Taínos federally recognized as indigenous nation. And one
They
of the
should.
roadblocks.
They should.
Yes.
They're Native Americans, technically.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a Native American. I have 20% Taíno.
Bye.
The
I'll see you
biggest
later.
roadblock.
Bye, everybody.
The biggest
I'm
roadblock.
20% Taíno. I will qualify it under the Native American tribes. But I don't know. The law says nothing about it. They don't say if they're going to recognize it or not. We don't know.
But wouldn't that cause an issue? Because the biggest roadblock is that Puerto Rico's not a state. So they can't federally recognize the indigenous culture. So if Puerto Rico would become a state and then Taínos would seek indigenous recognition federally, wouldn't that create an immigration problem with our neighboring islands who are also indigenous?
Yes.
That's my
Yes.
biggest,
Then it will be, well, there's Taínos in San Croix and Jamaica. And yeah.
So
and they will come in. But listen, if that happened, then they could apply for immigration status under the federal laws of Native Americans, and they will be a protected class, which will be given the rights of Native Americans in the United States. But I am like, that's like I'm stretching my arm like greatly on that one.
Yeah.
You know, but I do think that if Puerto Rico becomes a state, then it will recognize Taínos that are residents of Puerto Rico for sure. They will have no choice. It's a federal. It's
They
How
have to.
can they not?
But what would that cause with a
Oh,
island? I wonder about that. But
that part I don't know.
That's the biggest roadblock they've been telling me since I've been 20 years. And actually, the tribe here have been.
He says no, it won't. Well, how the fuck do you know that?
Who says?
Somebody's saying that they won't recognize Taínos as Native Americans. They have no choice.
It's.
Don't say no without saying why, because that is fucking easy.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people are like, no. Well, why? I don't know. Yeah, fucking.
That's. I had asked if there was something in those laws. I don't know if I always thought it's like, you know what, if it ever becomes a state, that would probably be one of the conditions that we can't seek federal recognition.
Well, you can even do it as a free association too. That's negotiable. I don't think the Americans will give it to us, but
yeah.
Listen, in all honesty, I am more scared of free association than independence. Because free association it puts us in a table where those two parties are not gonna fucking,
Lo mismo.
It's like a divorce. We're gonna be like sitting there for 2 years. I want this. No, fuck you. I want that. No, fuck off. You fucking
No,
I want it. It will never end.
Yeah. It's interesting what's going on because, like I said, I've been working with the tribe around here, and we always have this discussion, and it's kind of like I've been waiting to see what happens. I want to be recognized. I want Indigenous Taínos to be recognized.
Big Sway is asking, how will the military and defense of Puerto Rico work out? Well, the defense will be zero. There's no, the only thing it says about the military and veterans is that they will keep their benefits and status until it goes into extinction. Mm-hmm. And extinction under the law means that the person dies and then the benefit is over. Or if it's a benefit that is transferable to his children, then the children will get it until they die. So the people who are veterans will retain their veteran status. Even if Puerto Rico becomes an independent nation, these veterans that are Puerto Rican U.S. citizens can go, and U.S. citizens can go back and forth. They can go into base in the United States. They will retain their benefits. But the military is over. Like, they won't be like, the new Puerto Ricans or the new decree can be like, oh, I'm going to sign up for the United States. I'm like, no, because you're not a U.S. citizen.
You're not a citizen.
You're not, Exactly.
So it's going to be interesting. Interesting to see. Interesting to watch what happens.
Yeah.
I've always asked that question. I know we've talked about it. It's like, what's going to happen? That's why I asked if there was anything in that law that mentions that and talks about.
Yeah, the law, I'm telling you again, right? The law is 56 pages. It's not like it's not like they're covering everything. They're covering most of it. But there's a lot of shit that I'm like, what's going to happen? How long have I resided in Colorado? 8 years.
8 years.
20% to be recognized as Native American.
What's that?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know the percentage right now off the top of my head. Americans don't want Puerto Rico except for military strategic location. Well, whether they want us or not, they have no choice if we vote.
But that's old. I mean, now the military. It's not the same as it was before. Puerto Rico was a strategic place, back when I was a kid, or even before that. But now, the technology is so advanced that it's not really as strategic as it used to be.
Yeah. Can Puerto Rico sue the United States? If we become an independent nation, we could.
That's the question.
We could, but are we going to get anything? We will have to go to the United Nations and ask for reparations and talk about war crimes and a bunch of other shit.
Those are all conditions that they're going to put in place that we won't be able to do.
Miguel Rivera asked, dude, is it true that there is no Commonwealth option this time around? Correct. The Estado Libre Asociado, as you know it, has disappeared. It is no more. It is no more. If the law passes, el ELA tiene 2 años. It's like 2 years and it's done. Yeah, that's not an option. Free association with the sovereign country of Puerto Rico, independent nation with the sovereign country of Puerto Rico, and a 20-year plan of transition, and full statehood with all the rights of a State of the Union. That's it. The ELA is no more. As it should. That's not a fucking
Yeah.
form of status.
Pero,
Yeah.
I got to pick up my son tomorrow. You said you were gonna do something with the flags, right?
Yeah.
Mira, tú eres de Carolina, ¿verdad?
Yeah, I am the Carolina.
Ándale. Excuse me. Show you this.
Carolina Lina. Bro, Roberto Clemente.
Well, let me give you the effect on it. Hold on. Okay. I haven't.
Oh, I can add it to my flag.
Yeah, I'm making
as an attachment.
Yeah, attachments.
I like it. Did you know that Roberto Clemente was my dad's neighbor when they were little?
Really?
He gave my dad gloves and shit and told my dad, hey, I'm going to be a professional baseball player one day, so keep these gloves because I'm going to be famous. And my dad and his friends will make fun of him. They're like, you fucking idiot. Because imagine one of your homies telling you that he's going to make it to the major league.
What that costs right now.
Oh, yeah, but he didn't know. He was like, he was just my friend to me. They would play ping pong together, and my dad would beat him up. They were like legit friends. They were neighbors.
Yeah.
In Carolina, yeah.
No. I just wanted to check in with you guys. I had that that was in that book that you read.
Thanks for coming in, bro. I'll keep you guys posted.
Okay.
All right, brother. Peace out.
Peace out, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff going on. Okay, I'll answer a couple more questions and then I'm out because I've been here an hour already. Let Sandra, because she's been here for a while. Sandra Rivera. Sandra, how are you? Bienvenida, welcome.
Buenas noches, Luisito. Dios te bendiga, mi vida.
Gracias, igual.
Solamente subí para darte las gracias por la información que estás dando sobre la isla.
De nada.
Y I agree with you, 100%.
Yeah.
I agree with you y creo que
On what part?
tienen mucha razón. Mira, Puerto Rico sí se merece ser un estado 51 de los Estados Unidos, por el mero hecho de que nosotros perdimos muchos soldados en la guerra de Vietnam.
Yeah.
O sea, perder eso para nosotros sería mucho. Esa es una parte. Otra parte, ya es hora de que se le reconozca al indio taíno.
Yep, that too.
Y por tercero, que creo que sería bien beneficiario para nuestra isla, nuestra familia. Yo no vivo en Puerto Rico, yo vivo en Buffalo, New York, pero tengo a mi mamá en Puerto Rico. Tengo mi familia en Puerto Rico. Soy puertorriqueña. Mis raíces y mi corazón están allá.
Yeah. Listen, let me tell you something real quick, because somebody addressed something, and I wanna give you a tidbit of information. Mojica says, isn't it ironic that Jennifer Gonzalez is posing on favor of statehood and she is a Trumper? Yes, that is correct. But you want to know something even more ironic? Her position is disappearing. She is the resident commissioner of Puerto Rico. And the law says in all three formulas, where there is free association, independence, or statehood, that the position of resident commissioner for Puerto Rico will disappear. It is no more. Because it's stupid. It's a beggar's position. She would just come in and beg. And now they're going to eliminate. So she's going to be without a job. She's posting about wanting statehood, but she's not going to be able to run for. She can run for another office, but she can't run for resident commissioner. No one can. It's going to be eliminated. Yeah.
Luisito, a mí me encantan tus videos y tu.
Thank you, gracias.
Me fascinan, yo siempre te sigo.
Gracias.
También quería decirte que las puertas de la muchacha, que ya has estado 2 veces.
Sí, envíame otro mensaje.
Cuando quieras puedes bajar y decirme y te damos la plataforma.
Sí, envíame otro mensaje. Yo puedo quizás este fin de semana estoy busy, pero quizás la semana que viene, el lunes, puedo entrar y entonces hablamos más del proyecto porque hay un montón de cosas que tocar.
Sí, me gustaría porque allá en mi grupo se habla español y claro, según tú lo estás haciendo aquí en inglés, me gustaría que también la comunidad hispana esté al tanto de esto, de esta información que tú estás trayendo, porque creo que es bien importante. Le guste a quien no le guste.
Sandra, gracias por entrar. Tengo que seguir con los otros invitados, pero te agradezco y te me cuidas.
Gracias, mi amor. Dios te bendiga, Dios te guarde. Y yo te tiro el lunes.
Gracias, sí, me envía el mensaje.
Ok, dale.
Hablamos. Bendición.
Ajá.
Listen, I want to address something that somebody said here just now. Because I never heard anything like this. Maybe I heard it wrong or I read it wrong. Somebody said that we didn't lose any people in Vietnam. I really want to see if I read that correctly. Because if somebody said that, that person will probably win the award for the dumbest comment in the history of TikTok. I'm looking. Oh, here it is. Castalia 2684. We didn't lose soldiers in Vietnam. Lady, my father went to Vietnam. Is you a lady or a man? I don't even know. No. Why would you say that? That is the most ignorant lie. Yes, it is. That we didn't lose people in Vietnam. I think that is the war where we lost more Puerto Ricans than any other war, actually. For crying out loud, lady. Oh my God. There's some people that walk the earth with these thoughts in their head. Wild. I said we didn't just lose Puerto Ricans in Vietnam. We also lost in World War I. Well, you didn't say that. I have the screenshot of what you said. You didn't say that, but thank you for correcting it. Yeah, we lost Puerto Ricans in Vietnam and in all wars. Yeah, thank you. I was like getting nervous for a second. I meant to say it. Well, you got to be careful with what you mean to say and what you say. There's two different things. Yeah, so that's it. That's all I have. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to cover with regards to this new law. I don't know what's going to happen. You know, it's still too early to. I mean, listen, it first has to pass as a law. We'll see what happens in the Senate. If the Senate passes it, then it looks like there's finally light at the end of the tunnel for the island of Puerto Rico. You know, we might get what we want. People keep asking about the Jones Act. The Jones Act, if you choose free association or independence, the Jones Act will disappear. If we choose to be a state, then we can, vote on it in Congress to eliminate it. And it probably will be. I think it will be eliminated no matter what in all three forms of status that we pick. What is the pueblo saying? People are going to lean for statehood. I will bet my retirement fund. People are going to vote for statehood. People are too scared to go in a fucking 20-year plan to negotiate with the United States. They want their guaranteed benefits. Luisitorio, Puerto Rico won't get it because too much power for them. Yeah, listen, but if there's a couple of Republicans that vote for it and say yes, then it passes. 16 of them already voted for it in the House. Who knows with the Senate? I think they'll probably hang it, but hey, listen, I've been wrong before. So, I don't know, But yeah, Puerto Ricans are not going to vote for independence. No fucking way in hell. Absolutely no way. Maybe free association, but when they are explained what it is, they'll be like, fuck no. When you tell Puerto Ricans that the children of Puerto Ricans after the decree are not going to be U.S. citizens, they'll be like, yeah, this conversation is over. What are the downsides to statehood? Well, we're going to have to pay a ton of fucking federal tax. And we'll lose our identity, No more Olympics, no more World Baseball Classic, no more Miss Universe, no more of anything of that sort, If that matters to you. I mean, it is what it is, Trump's trader cards. Yeah, there are a couple of fucking idiots giving him money. It's quite funny. Oh, I didn't screen record it. Oh, I feel so bad. Now I can't. Oh, well, you know what? I might be able to pull it from the records. We'll see. Anyways, I am good. Luisito para gobernador. We'll see. Governor of the state of Puerto Rico. Could you imagine that? For the Democrats. I'll do it. I'll run. I am announcing it today. If Puerto Rico wins statehood and Puerto Rico becomes the 51st state of the union, I will go back to Puerto Rico and run for the Democrats for the governorship of Puerto Rico. I'll be the next Gavin Newsom. I'll take that fucking economy and kill it. We'll legalize weed. We'll fucking. I'm gonna make that island the best island in the planet. I'll do it. Let's get it. You got my vote. Thank you, people. I think people will vote for me. I'll go back and run. Luis, help us sign the bill for immigration reform. I'll do that too. I'll go to Puerto Rico and lobby for immigration. It will be great. Listen, I love you guys. Thank you for coming in. I really appreciate your participation on this. I wish I could stay more with you guys. You know what? I feel bad about Nutty Professor. Let me let him in because he's been there for a while. You're the last one, Nutty Professor.
What's going on, my friend?
Doing good, brother. Doing good.
Very quickly, because I know you're trying to get off here, but
Gotcha.
I think you are wishful thinking, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
I do not believe the Senate will pass this bill.
I don't think so either. I agree with you.
And it's only, and yeah, I'm gonna just call it out. It's because they don't want brown people to gain anything.
We know that.
The Republicans don't.
Yeah.
And if Puerto Rico becomes the 51st state, they will classify it as a blue state.
Yeah.
And the Republicans, that's just too much for them. They will implode.
Yeah, I agree with you. I said it on my original video. They will not allow it because they know that the Puerto Rican people are Democrats. They know it. They will not. And listen, here's the problem. It's we don't have the numbers. Look at. Did you see what happened with the House? I think it was 189 Republicans voted against Puerto Rico self-determining. All of the noes, the entire amount of noes were all Republicans. And they are still stupid, dumbass Puerto Ricans voting Republican. Voting for the people that are opposing the rights of Puerto Ricans to self-determine themselves. Imagine how dumb you got to be, like, catastrophically dumb. Like, dumb at a level of, like, you fall down while chewing gum dumb. All of the Republicans voted against Puerto Ricans, and Puerto Ricans are like, yeah, Democrats. I'm like, you got to be really fucking stupid. Think about it. But I agree with you. I think it won't pass in the Senate. It will be a miracle. A fucking miracle. But listen, I've been wrong before.
So I had to show my face because people in the comments, they're saying, why am I hiding? I don't hide from anyone.
There you go.
I don't hide. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I just don't think it'll pass, even though I did I got deployed twice to Puerto Rico. Last time I talked to you, I was there on the island because of the hurricanes. And going through, my last territory was San Lorenzo and Cagua.
San Lorenzo y Cagua, yeah, they're right across each other. I used to live there.
So that was my general vicinity that I worked. And let me tell you guys, Puerto Rico needs to be a state. Because in my opinion, Puerto Rico will have 4 representatives in the House, and they will have 2 senators. Then they will get the federal funds that are needed, just like other states.
Yeah.
I think statehood would help the people of Puerto Rico, especially in the mountainous areas.
Yeah.
Because I've never seen poverty like that before. And it broke my heart because I was telling my translator while I was there, I was like, at the end of the day, these are American citizens living like this. And that broke my heart because even the homeless people here stateside have it better than some of the people in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's saying something.
Yeah. Carlos Romero Barceló, ex-governor of Puerto Rico, Carlos Romero Barceló, who people hated, he wrote a book called La Estadidad es para los pobres. Statehood is for poor people. He was a Democrat, and he favored statehood. And a lot of people don't know that he was a Democrat, but he was. He hated Donald Trump. He got into a fight one time because he told a Cuban that I think Reagan was an idiot with power, and he fucking got into it and got punched. He was a character. He's dead now. But statehood is for poor people. Yeah, Puerto Rico definitely needs a very healthy injection of federal funding. And, some people will argue that we will lose our identity a little bit, and that may be. But at this point of the game, with the options that we have and the economy that we have, I really don't see any other way around it. Like if they were to negotiate independence with reparations, I would be like, sure, let's do it, because you are getting us back whole. Like you are giving back what you took. But if you're giving me a 10-year plan and then you're dwindling federal funding, you're not giving me anything. You're taking away, and you already taken so much from me. Why would you take even more? You know?
I just want to say to the people of Puerto Rico, don't believe the United States. The United States is Donald Trump extraordinaire. Every treaty the United States had with the indigenous folks, we've broken the treaty.
Yeah.
So
That's another worry, because it says free association. Great. You will have your own sovereign nation. We will negotiate, but we can withdraw at any moment from the treaty. I'm like, well, fuck that.
yep.
You're not giving me a contract. You're saying, well, I'll give you this, but the moment I want to step out, I can do so. You can do so as well. But I'm like, I'm not going to fucking step out. I need you. You're the one who's going to leave me high and dry.
Look at the Native Americans now. I mean, even the last treaty that we're under now, we're breaking it right now. We don't hold true to our agreements.
Yeah, that's my word.
We just don't. So yeah, someone just said taxation without representation. Well, that's DC, but yeah. I think
Puerto Rico becomes a state, they will have to pay property taxes. And you don't think we pay property taxes now?
Shit.
We already do.
Listen,
we pay property taxes to the Queen, which is a local economy in Puerto Rico, and we're taxed. That will be eliminated because our taxation system will be no more, and we would adhere to the IRS completely. You know, people are just like.
Listen, when I was there in Puerto Rico and I would look at my pay stubs, listen, I was taxed so heavily when they were taking out upwards to $2,200 of taxes out of my paycheck.
Yeah. It's worse because now we pay Hacienda and we pay federal. We pay two taxes. We pay local and we pay federal. Now the local with statehood will be eliminated. They'll be like,
hold on. I was also paying a tax because I was staying in San Juan. So I had a San Juan tax that was attached to my paycheck.
Yeah. Yeah. We pay a lot. People don't realize Puerto Ricans pay a lot.
Puerto Ricans pay a boatload of taxes, you guys.
Yeah. We pay the Jones Act. The Jones Act alone.
Yes.
It's like that will be eliminated if we become a state. It will be like, well, you're a state. You don't have, it's over.
Well, you know what?
Hawaii doesn't fucking pay.
But the people of Puerto Rico, they deserve it. They deserve statehood. They deserve to be represented. They deserve to be able to vote for the president of the United States.
Yeah.
Because I can't imagine being under an authoritarian rule and you have no say.
Yeah. And you know what we also could do? We could eliminate the tax breaks that we're giving to the rich.
Oh, absolutely.
We could be like, fuck it, you get no more because now we're going to legislate in Congress to eliminate that. And then we just take it out. Well, there's a lot of things that can be done, but we need to I swear, I would run. If we became a state, I would go back and run for governorship and be like, okay, now you're putting me in a level playing field. Now I'm going to go and do things right.
Si se puedo. Listen, I stand with my brothers and sisters of Puerto Rico.
Thank you. I appreciate the support, brother.
Love you guys. See ya.
Stay frosty, man. Take care. Yeah, that's good. I mean, a lot of Americans are excited for us. A lot of people who are not Puerto Ricans are like, that's fucking awesome. Puerto Rico will be the best state ever. I think we could, and I would run either for Congress or whatever. I would do it. I always said I won't do it because right now with I always say when people ask me, would you run? No, because with this formula, I don't want to be a beggar. I want to be in a level playing field where I can do things like I have tools to work on. And fuck, if we became a state, I would go back and I would kill it. And I would make Puerto Rico the best economy in the United States. But a level playing field. Not with the shit we have right now. I'm glad they eliminated the Estado Libre Asociado, what we have right now. That shit doesn't work. It should not be in the ballot. So good. There's no PPD or PNP. That is over. If we become a state, I will run for the Democratic Party in Puerto Rico. There's going to be no PPD, no PNP. That is over. That is gone. And let me tell you something, my Puerto Rican friends, that you need to start putting in your brain. The PPD, the PNP, and the PIP, which are the main Puerto Rico political parties in Puerto Rico, are no more. If the law passes, then the argument of status is over. The PIP won't exist because we will never be independent if we choose to become a state. The estadista, the PNP, will not exist because we'll already be a state. And the PPD is no longer existent because it was eliminated from the clause. So those parties are over. Then in Puerto Rico, you will run Democrat or Republican. That's it. So forget about those three. Those three are gone as per the new formula, which is great. I think that's great news. I will run for Congress. I will do it. I think it'll be amazing. I would love to run for Congress for the Democrats of Puerto Rico and fucking be the governor of Puerto Rico under the 51st state. Fuck yeah, I will do it. I think I will kill it. And I will make us, oh my God, I will go back. I will move back. Because it's like, could you imagine the governor of Puerto Rico and then I could be considered for the presidency? Fucking awesome. It'll be great. And I will make Puerto Rico the tourism hub of the United States. Everyone will want to come. Legalize psilocybin, psychedelics, THC. Oh my God, tax it at 20%. You know, recreationally, like Colorado, oh my God, the millions of dollars we will cash in and rake in. Abortion, legal, so that women feel safe. I mean, the things that we could do, I'm telling you, I'm excited. We'll see what happens. But for now, let's pass the law. Let's see if it passes in Senate. You know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I'll let you know what happens with my political career. Let's pass the law first. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I love you guys. I appreciate your support and everything. Hey, you have until tonight at midnight to do an impression of me and tag me for my laugh. Do an entire impression of me. 4 prizes. I'm going to hand out the Coquille hat from overthehead.com for the 3rd prize. I'm going to give you guys a hoodie for the 4th prize. 2nd prize gets artwork from Figs. And the 1st prize gets a bottle of Coquito, custom made by me. I'll send it straight to your door. Get your video in. You have until tonight at midnight. I will watch all of them. And then tomorrow I will announce the winner. And I will do a duet with the people who imitated me. There's a lot of people who did very good impressions of me. It's fucking funny. I love you guys. Thank you so much. I love you, the people of Puerto Rico. We're gonna get through this. There's hope at the end of the tunnel. There's light. Thank you, everyone. Que pasen buenas noches y que tengan buen día.